every £3,000 you make on property sourcing deal could make you an extra £300 per month for co-sourcing as an Airbnb host, which means there's an additional £3,600 for you at the end of the year. Now, why is it so important to understand this process? Because in this video, I really want to talk about property sourcing and Airbnb Co-Hosting put together as a service. And you know, if you watch online videos, there's not a lot of people understanding this process, so not a lot of people promote this, right? I've worked with property sourcing companies. I've worked with property sourcing companies giving bad, well, I haven't worked directly with them, but I've worked with my clients who's been given a bad deal by a property sourcing company, which I then have to solve an issue on how to get them bookings, because the investor don't understand how to get bookings, right? So they've given a deal, potentially might have worked, might have not, but then I have to come in and like solve the issue. And numbers of times I have, because we've got a better knowledge on how to get bookings and all that kind of stuff. But why important is you can be a co-hosting, and if you keep learning about how to get bookings, and my channel, there's loads of stuff and there's loads of free video on that, it really kind of gives you an edge around speaking to an investor going, hey, we'll source you that, but you know, we can manage it for you. So who wants this service? Because a lot of people might think, Piers, actually we're already charging them £3,000 for finding a deal. Why would they want to pay us? But there's some people who are extremely busy investor wants this. And also the other thing is lack of knowledge, right? Fear, because a lot of investor, if you speak to them going, hey, is this your first? Yes, it is. You must know that they don't know how to get bookings. They don't know how to create ads. So for you, I think what you've got to understand is you've got to leverage this process. You've got to have a win-win situation for your investor and yourself. And you know, an Airbnb co-hosting is one of the most simple and basic strategy right now in the industry, which actually for me has been great, because this is episode 4, right, of how to start your property sourcing company on a rent-to-rent basis. But with this additional to your service, we've actually already done a full series video on how to operate your Airbnb co-hosting, how to find them. And once you've started doing this, you might be able to go and scale that side of the business too. So without further ado, let's go in. I'm so excited to share you this again. Some of these things I share, by the way, there's thousands of pounds charged by, you know, property mentors. And for me, I'm so glad, because I get to work with every single individual, right? I already work with Airbnb co-hosting company who's got over 50 units in US, then Spain, then Dubai, and now I'm using that knowledge to be able to give you guys the information. I work with management companies in the UK right now who's got over 250 properties. I work with loads of individual small brands who are looking to get bookings. So without further ado, let's go into a little bit more detail around what Airbnb co-hosting is and how you can put that together with your property sourcing business. I'm going to introduce one of my clients called Nick, and I'm going to go through his exact words, and then I'll be able to kind of explain you where the property sourcing company went wrong, where the management company went wrong, and effectively how we got to leverage this process of both two of those companies actually not helping the investor. And you know, there's a lot behind this. Like, Nick had to work all 7 days to earn more money to fund his units while he's trying to make his way out of this contract and everything. And luckily we got to meet, and you know, we got to help him. But let's go through his comments first. So as you can see from my screen, he says, I want to say a massive thank you to Piers and his team. I have 2 rent-to-rent apartments in Manchester, and I was with the management company for 4 months. During that period, I had not even had one profitable month, always had to put money in to cover my rent and expenses. I came across Piers and I thought I'll give it a try and go down to the self-management route. It was the best decision I made. I've had no idea, as it was my first time doing something like that. In my first few days being with Piers, I secured a few weeks booking, and that was my first month where I was profitable, right? And this is us making money in month 1. They were there to help and assist, even when I felt I had no clue in what I was doing. I'm very grateful and glad that I met them and worked with them. And it's quite a recent review of ours. Basically, Nick here, who was sourced a unit. So both his rent-to-rent apartment was sourced by a sourcing company. So he's now paid £6,000 on this deal, right? 2 deals. He might have got a discount, but that would be the numbers I'd be looking at. The sourcing company then referred it to a management company who he worked with, and he was told that that is the only management company they should use. So obviously there's something going on with the sourcing company and the management company, because as an investor, you shouldn't be told who you should be using. The investor has to have a choice. They should really have a choice on where they should go and, you know, who to work with. But in this case, the management company were charging him 20% for pretty much every revenue they made, right? So, and the funny thing is, right? There's months he made like £2,000. It didn't cover all his costs, but the management company still made 20% on that fee. So the management company was making £400. After all expenses, my investor was making no money and still had to put, basically his money into this unit. So that says a lot about that sourcing company, and I'll be surprised if they're still around right now and sourcing deals, because not only Nick has had that issue, there'll probably be hundreds of other people they've sourced would have the same issue. Secondly, the management company, and for me, once he sent me the link, we were doing his assessment initial days, I really got to understand the management company was just a management company. They never got him direct bookings. The listings were awful. Like, their unit, like Nick's unit at still when we worked, was a very, very basic unit. It was in a great location in Manchester, but the unit was very basic, professional photo-ish. There was some very bad photos taken. So this is where we come back to your service that we want to provide. Property sourcing company on a rent-to-rent basis. Exactly what we said earlier, right? If that sourcing company, or if that property sourcing company who worked with Nick had all the systems and tools that I've given in my last video, right? If you haven't watched the systems and process, go and watch it, because that would have saved Nick a lot of time and effort, but also saved him a lot of money, because this guy was working all the time, right? Trying to cover his bills. It was not to make him more money. He was losing money in his unit. So when we worked, he was so scared to invest with us purely because he's had bad experience with two big firms. But the only way for him to get out was us, because he was still in an agreement with the landlord. He can't come out the agreement. I still remember he said, "Piers, I'm still happy if I break even on this property, at least for now." And I'm so glad that we were able to really push his unit to what it deserved. And today he's making a consistent £1,000 net profit on two of each unit, which means £2,000 per month. And what a difference we've made to, someone like this. And for you guys as well, it's a real-time example of what you guys can see, right? Today, not only he saved management fee, he's making more profit himself. He can be better rate on the market. But for you, this is where you don't kind of co-hosting model. We're not saying the management model, we're saying the co-hosting. You're going in only offering the management of the online booking system, the guest comms. You can work with the investor and they can still manage the day-to-day, the housekeeping team, the maintenance of the property, but you have the option to really boost your opportunity in business. I'm going to take you back into our review, and I want to show you, because again, if you meet Craig will explain you the process behind what he thinks about a lot of working with a lot of company and stuff like that. So it says, fantastic investment working with Piers and his team. So many more ways to market properties than I have imagined. I've gone having from an average length of stay of 2.2 days to getting a 5 weeks booking, taking my business from just breaking even to finally making a worthwhile amount of money, which is profit. I don't review or recommend many things. The sad reality is that most people oversell and underdeliver, but this has been the great 5 weeks, and I still have some other stuff I haven't implemented yet. Genuinely delighted with the results so far. So you can see here, the reason why I share this was he was with a management company. They were not making him any money. He had to pay them 18% on management fee while we were still working, and he was in contract. He was so frustrated with the management company that they were not getting any bookings. Again, going back to the basic, because a lot of management company are too much focused on increasing their management fee, increasing doing the all work, and you can be just, again, remember, we're not talking about the management model. We're talking about Airbnb co-hosting, where you are just looking after the online presence and attracting them bookings, attracting them those leads, and charging them less. Don't have to charge them 20%. We've gone by the figure 10% earlier, right, out of what revenue you guys can make. So I am so excited to share you all of this information right now. I've worked with hundreds of people who's worked with management companies. I've worked with hundreds of people who has been sourced a unit. I am very lucky as GrowYourBnb, because my job is we do the work for clients. We're more of a done for you service, right? Because we don't sell courses, we don't do anything. We actually take clients' account like their hours, and we do all the work. We work with them for a certain amount of time, give it back to them with the right knowledge, the implementation, and making sure your clients are happy. I hope you've enjoyed this full episode around property sourcing, mixing up with different strategies, the Airbnb co-hosting model, and I've really enjoyed sharing what we know as a brand and my knowledge in the industry for the last 6 years. If you're new to this channel, I'd love you to hit that subscribe. If you've only watched this video, there's another 3 videos I've done for this series. I'd love you to go check out. There's tons of other videos that I've mentioned that's going to really help you bring this business to life and become so unique. And guys, I always say one thing, you know, my channel is all about giving value. We've genuinely done that over the last few years if you watch my videos, and every year we're trying to give you guys the best knowledge possible to make a success. So thank you so much for watching another Grow Your BnB video, and I'll be back with another video soon.